Thank you for such introducing. I'm really humbled, and it's really strange to hear such a nicest words, words. Maybe it's not still unusual, but for me. But I'm really glad I am here in the center of our IT, country's IT, I guess. And I would like to tell you today the story, my story, what I went through, basically quality assurance of our country story. What did we test and what did we find and what should we fix? So the name of the topic is how to digitize the public sector to #1 in the world. It's really ambitious, but I am pretty sure it's quite an easy task to do, actually. So today, this is my slide. That was official slide. This is unofficial. You can compare them, and so we can move on. So public sector. What do we know about it? It's most inefficient company in all the countries, maybe except Singapore, or maybe even there. So basically, there are always the same problems. It's the same like in each corporate problems, but here are a little bit more extreme, the same problems. So as I will talk today, I have to mention a disclaimer that we are doing quite well at our public sector comparing to other public sectors in the world, but really, really bad if we compare it to the best acting businesses like Nord or Wix. It's like, so let's go. We have a lot of problems, but the outcome of these problems is the same. Lack of customer-oriented approach. That is the problem. And you feel it, I guess, in all our informational systems that something is wrong. It's not like you're using Facebook and where you don't need any manual, or any frequent asked questions. Everywhere you are just looking for something to find, and it's really hard. And that is the outcome of all the processes. So basically, shortly, my experience, I always was one of co-founders of MillerLite. Maybe some of you heard the ending story. Unicorns.lt, I established the website. I also was running some restaurants. That was really interesting experience. Malsuolis.lt, if you want to know what is happening around you. So basically, I am like a developer, so I'm the one whose job you are testing, basically, and looking for a mistake. So sorry for that, but so my journey, or our journey to the efficiency in the public sector. So 4 years ago, I was invited and asked of the Ministry of Environment, Simonas, like, could you come and do something good? Like, you are IT, we have problems with IT, and maybe you could do something good. I thought, yeah, it's interesting, and I joined the Ministry of Environment and started my journey. Here, basically, you see I had a chair, a table, window, and computer, and the game began. The game began, and that was the beginning of the game. Nothing else, no money, no nothing, just do something good. And what I started, like each slide, I guess I could make a separate presentation, but shortly I started to look for the problems that are big enough where we could reach some impact, and started to assemble the teams. If I see some, for example, InfoStatyba, our informational system, I don't see any people that are taking care of that, and I was starting to like building the teams from inside and attracting people from the private sector. So basically started to build such a teams, and in different projects, one team by one, and another and another and another. And what helped us, and helped especially me, I had no limits, no borders, because usually people in public sector, they just like, I work in this institution, it means either I do something because this is my problem, or my institution problem, or my company's problem, and this is not my problem if it happens somewhere else. For me, I saw as a country as a whole. I came to work for a country, not for some institution. Even I was working in Ministry of Environment and later in the government, but I was working, basically, I was overlooking everything as one. I didn't see any borders. So it helped me. So basically, shortly, how the country is run, to understand our process. Is a ministry, vice ministers, basic, and political groups that are responsible for some specific sectors. One is for forests, another for nature, waste, construction, and so on. It's basically each political group decides what kind of informational systems functionality we have. And we have a problem. We have political groups in each ministry, 3, 4 of them, 5, 6, 7 maybe, but usually they consist of 15 people, more or less 10, maybe 17 people, but they know just a little about the users. Some of very rare, knows a lot, but usually they're not quite interested in what they're doing, and there all the problem starts. Imagine 15 product owners of one product, 15 product owners that do not talk to each other and do not talk too much to the market. Basically, they just writing the backlog without checking what is happening in the product, how it's being used, and so on. Just shooting without checking the target. So that is the main problem in our processes. Quality was starting losing here. Then new IT project issue. How we're doing now new IT project is basically we start from the money, not from anything else. Just we had the money, European Union gave the money. We just then looking for the ideas. Usually it's the ones that last time didn't get the money, and then writing some project and investments, basically to make sure that officially we can do this project. And everywhere, then public procurement, technical specification, everywhere it takes a lot of time. People are changing, but we still don't know what we want. We just want to take the money. That's actually what we never say loudly, but not what kind of problem we're trying to solve. And that's cost 3 to 5 million euros, takes 3 to 5 years. And that's the problem of our all informational systems. And fixed scope in this project, waterfall, because it's in super dynamic environment, we have fixed scope projects. And that's the only reason is that's because all the responsibilities in such a way you can throw to the vendors, because it's fixed scope. And vendors by public procurement, they're just by participating in it, they say that we're gonna make this whole scope. And if something fails, it's a vendor's fault. So not institutions. But basically, it's all the time it's failing, because you cannot do something good in very dynamic environment while we have a fixed scope, because the laws are changing, politicals are changing, everything is changing in 1 year. It might be like this. And projects always successful in Lithuania. You never see the failing project. It's always successful because we cannot kill them. If you kill them, then the audit and commissions and so on, they start raiding your institution. Why? How did you manage to fail? If no one fails and you failed, then you just have all the package. And that's crazy. And then no one wants to fail. And we are just putting the money in the project that will fail. Everyone knows that, but you just can't tell because you will get a fine from your European Union and so on. And all the IT project issues, how we're running all the IT projects. So the same political groups, they still, if we have some waste management system or the same info-statiba, we are writing the laws, but because there are some specialists responsible for the system, but like huge system, and we have only one guy who's maybe it's the 6th priority to be responsible for that system. So it's often they just forget to tell him that they changed some backlog or loss, as it's the same. And then we just launch a new law and we see that our system is still not updated. And we just then couple months we're trying to do something while our citizens are working with the papers. So that's then all the issues. And the problem is that it's lack of competent employees. Because usually in such inefficient companies, you survive only by doing less. Because if you do something more, it always attracts attention. And it's like 2 types of people, don't-doers and doers. And doers hate don't-doers, and don't-doers hate doers. And if don't-doers are starting running the country, they're throwing out the doers, because that's what doers would do. They would start throwing out firing the don't-doers, and that's the game, you know. And it depends who is running, doers or don't-doers. That's always will be the fight. And so this time we're losing the fight, actually. Or I don't know, you may be winning. It depends on what kind of. Institution CEOs without a plan. Only if you have a plan, what they want to do, what they want to change. Usually you come, you sit, very comfortable chair, something is doing something, you're signing some papers, and you sit and wait, and you think that you're doing something. So that's the problem. And we have a problem with our HR. Look at our job ad. That's how it looks like. Not quite good user experience. It does not tell me we really want you. Yeah, it says, guys, think carefully if you want to join the public sector. The salary 3,700 they wrote here for a 500 people institution. You have to manage 500 people. You will get 2,300 to hands. Yeah, so that's not very good deal. unofficially, the salary might be about 10,000 euros, but they cannot tell that, and they have to officially write, and they will never find the good people, but then the bad people will come and they will get 10,000 euros, and that's the problem, how we approach HR. And some institutions bring lag, not a value. Always when we make a mistake, we create a new process, bureaucratic process, how to avoid them in the future, even though it was maybe a mistake just happened. So some institutions we have that creates a huge lag, that even our center of register, it has all the data, but if you want to get the data from them, and always you need the data from them if you create something, you have like couple months with them writing some agreements. I cannot still understand, like it's totally the same process. Why we cannot do it in one day? Or if you want to have a test environment, you have to wait for a few months, because in test environment, they have real data, not a test data. And if you want to get access to the real data, you have to write an agreement with them. So again, you're going through the same process. And that sounds strange, but it is. And thousands such processes where we're losing 3 months are happening now. And it's, but we're still thinking about how to make it efficient, but we don't. This is the core actually. And state budget, it's always growing. If we, for example, have 20 billion state budget and next year will be 2 billion more, we will talk only about these 2 billion, not what is happening with these 20 billion. Maybe there are projects that are failing. Maybe there are projects that you don't need to run and you have to kill them. No, we just talk about, because project does not fail, then there is no need to overlook the old projects, yes? And that's quite easy. So we will talk only about the extra money, not about the previous money. Can you imagine what is inefficiency lies in these 20 billion? But how to make it right? Yeah, I told you about the problems. I guess most of you know them already or heard them somewhere. But how to make it right? How to change this country? We have a small country, actually. We can make a pilot out of this country to show the little bit different direction. And first is Refactor core institutions. Just everything is connected in this country, and we have to have them working properly. So what I mean that is remove the control. Speed is the king. Nothing is more important than the speed. We can sacrifice everything around for a speed, especially in this super slow and fast corporation, public sector. So remove control. It does not. It sounds maybe no one will control and people will start stealing. No, the control institutions they are just checking the papers, and people who are doing some bad things, they're using them. All the papers, they're legally, everything is so fine, just the money is disappearing, but everything is legally perfect. So they do not check the content, they check the form, like is it like a Word document good enough, all the numbers are there and so on, but it costs us sometimes half of the year, sometimes more. And imagine, we're just standing for, now there is a project, really important project, impact on our environment, the process, where we could just check if it's a new factory, will it make some impact or no? So now we have waiting, I guess, almost 1 year. We're just waiting. Teams are waiting for the answers, because the institution is still thinking, control institution still trying to decide, did we make some mistakes or no? I could just another topic about that, but it's hard even to explain what kind of mess is there. And sometimes it's better to lie, and that's because you won't believe. So create IT base ground. IT teams that are ready to act. There are 2 types of projects. Projects that we have time to build, and projects that are needed now, like a COVID. We need a QR code, we need it now. But as a country, we don't have any team that could do it today. We just don't have any almost developers or developer teams, so we have to go make a public procurement, then maybe go to the court because someone is unhappy and spend 3, 4, 5 months there. Instead of that, I cannot imagine how you can work as this government without having a team which could just help you because all the time happens something that you need to act fast, and they don't have such a teams. And for me, it's really I could not sleep at night if I had a boy in such a environment. But for them, it's not a problem. So we have to have the teams, at least few teams that are ready to act, like spec ops teams that are like you know that if something happens, we can just do it in 1, 2, 3 days. We'll get any solution as a country. Refactor HR state. attract the best and make them better. It's quite actually quite easy task if you know what you're doing. If you just also what I showed you previously, this user experience window where we're attracting new people. So we just our team just order to make to refactor it to make it new. But as we now were pushed out of the project, I don't know how it's happening, but it was already used wireframes. I saw it will be nice, and I hope they will make one day and show that we really want to see new people coming to the public sector, not the same ones. So that HR must be the right hand of the Prime Minister, where he could attract the best and make them better. It means working together, not just putting into positions and forgetting them, but day by day working to make sure that these people understood what they are for here. And so Refactor political groups were like 15 people that each knows like 10 persons of the whole sector, because he's not interested in other part of the sector. If you, for example, just like forest, yeah, you take some people are responsible for one, I don't know, just I'm like a joke, but for one tree, another for another tree, and so on. But basically, it's not connected. So you can just fire most of the people and add new 3-4 people maximum that are really care of what they are doing and they really know how to achieve the result. And that's just by it's quite what we are trying to do. And also Refactor political group processes. This is the Jira. Before that, you know how the laws were being made and still being made in most of the ministries. You just have on your personal computer, on your local Word file, you write something, and then you go on vacation. No one knows what you've done. So you just fire the person. You don't know what was happening, on what status of that law was. Basically, you're just sending the files through the email, and you just don't see, you're losing the files, you're losing the commands and so on. It's like a mess. And then it's quite easy to lie. You're asking, where is the law? Did you write the law? Yes, I wrote it, but I sent to there's Lithuanian word, kalbininkai, to check the grammar spelling. So all the times they were blaming kalbininkai. And I thought it's like all the problems is because of this kalbininkai. It's stucking there, you know, all the laws are stucking there. And what we've done, we brought a Jira. Let's make it like we are working as IT people on the Jira, so let's put in them too, because they're not political group people. They're analytics like us. They're just writing the backlog too. So we put a Jira project. So each time you just have to write what's the result you want to achieve, what kind of project, and so on, what kind of law, and impact you want to achieve, and so on. And it goes through the line. It's like it's in the beginning it's an idea, later you're doing something, then it goes to kalbininkai, then it goes to some law groups, and so on and so on. So what we realized that kalbininkai, they're the fastest in this in this circle. They never stuck anything just because that they were just, some people just lie and so on. They're afraid to tell the truth. We're lacking the courage in public sector. So Refactor informational system development. Why shouldn't we start from the idea, from the problem we have? If we have the problem, let's solve it out and then look for the money. But first, you look for a person who could care about that problem and who could solve it. And only then you can start by writing some project specification, what kind of this, how the application will look like that will solve this problem. If you need any application, make public procurement and then create application, and you continue further development. So you're not afraid of the mistakes you will make in the process, because in further development, you'll fix them. So this is the speed I want to see. It takes about 1 year and costs 200, 250,000, and you see, is it working or not? And actually all the time it's working, because you're doing it by iterations, by checking. We'll talk it later, but basically this is the problem. This is the way how we should approach the new applications. And also a Refactor IT and law approach. So we could be these political groups and IT teams. It shouldn't be separate thing. It should be one team. So if what we told, like in political groups, guys, if you have any problem, don't start by solving it and writing some new law. But if you don't have a driver license, you cannot drive the car, because people still are driving cars without driving license. So you have to make another law. Yeah, so that's what you're always trying to do. So you have to have one team, and this is really actually important in all the sectors, everywhere. if you think that in some projects there are 2 teams, 3 teams, but not 1, you have a problem. So here, it's important to have 1 team. And so we are approaching these political groups. Guys, you have an idea, you have a problem, don't start by writing the law, go to the IT team and tell what's your problem you have. Not the solution, just a problem. And in most of the cases, what we saw, you don't need to change any law, because you can, we have so many tools now, so many data, we could just dig, check, and solve that issues without changing the laws. That's why I'm not a very strong believer in the laws. I believe in the value we could provide. That's what works. So when we have this circle, we could move on. And what we need flexible projects, because speed is the king. We need flexibility. If we have speed but we don't have flexibility, it's also a problem. So what we started to do everywhere, MVP, this most valuable player or minimum viable product, but and we started to do all the homework before the public procurement, because before that, you just write something very abstract, go to the public procurement, basically you say, I want to have a car, and how much will it cost? And someone is asking, like, what kind of car? Like, is it Ferrari, is it Skoda? I don't know. You should tell me later. After the public procurement, maybe I will tell you what kind of car. So can you imagine the pricing of the companies? They just, maybe he'll want a Ferrari. Let's put 1 million for this car. And later they're realizing that it's only Skoda. Okay, perfect, I won. But you are, as a company, are paying for all the risks without going and buying something without still knowing what you're buying. So what we done, we just started, let's prepare everything, just buy only what we really know what it is. So we started to do this MVPs project, so basically to start faster, and how it looks like. Wireframes, yeah? So instead of doing everything after public procurement, we are finding a project manager. Here is like our impact on the environment systems wireframe. We just hire the UX designer, and together they're just going through and painting wireframes, how it will look like. Before that, they were just writing documentation, technical specifications. Imagine to some political group people that are not IT people, you're sending 300 of technical specifications, like a vendor is sending 300 pages of technical specification and saying, you have 1 week, please review and sign it. It's crazy, actually. It's crazy because you don't read as much and you don't understand nothing, but people, visually, they accept information 10 times or more, even more, better. So let's do like this. You just paint, and then you show to everyone, you demonstrate it, and what we changed after we have the wireframes, we started doing public public presentations. In like public presentation, we're telling we are doing such a project, we have a wireframes, we want to show you what we have, and it's totally public event. Everyone that is related or want to see what we did, or maybe we'll have some ideas, please welcome to join, and we'll look for what we have done. And we just making a demo of this still wireframes. We still didn't code anything, just painted, have all the processes. When we gathering the feedback from more and more people, and then when we will start coding, we will be pretty sure that what we do is quite close to what we need. So that was the change, and that's one of good examples is Tvarkau Lietuva. We've done it really interesting. It was illegal. We've done it illegally. If they would caught us in some moment, it would be some problems I would experience, but we managed to go over that time, and now everything is legal, and the project was done legal. So that's, maybe I'm joking, so no one will check it, but basically that's how we're operating. So what we've done, it's basically it's an idea that people could report where people are leaving the waste in the forest, or maybe not in the places where they're supposed to be. We quickly painted it, built it, and launched it. But we kept working with the inspectors, because before that they were just creating the IT solution and throwing to the people. Let's use it. We've done it. No, our job was not to hire people, not to build some application, but to bring the impact, the real impact. Such kind of impact when the person in the bar comes to me and says, Eimantas, few times, I was everywhere complaining about some waste in my backyard, not in my neighbor's backyard, and no one ever replied to me, and no one did anything, but I came to Tvarkau Lietuva, I just marked the dot, sent the information, and in 1 month, everything was cleaned. And I got a feedback from that application, told thank you. And that kind of impact I love to hear, but we really change something when it really works. So another thing, that projects can be failing, yeah? It can, sometimes projects fail, yeah? Do you have some failed projects? No, yeah, good, yeah. You're really strong people, yeah. I think when I was not joking, this is real. I think that I am still working with the most failing projects in this country. Now I'm like an official champion, I guess. Because if the project is fine, no one is inviting me and asking for help. Everything is good in the project, so what should I do there? But if it's failing, then we'll get phone calls and asking for help. Even though 1 year ago we told them, if you will go this way, you will end up like there. And they're calling, yeah, we ended here, as you told. Can you help now? Yeah, we can. So, state budget. Full review. We should check everything, not only this 2 billion. Why couldn't make like this? Yeah, you have to present your pitches like this. There's sharks are sitting like prime minister, ministers, and they just prove me like we did. We are responsible for the IT budget, and we told, can you prove that taxpayers gonna lose something if we cancel your project? Because we don't think that they will lose something. We don't think. Can you prove that? And it was bold statement, and everything changed. You see the people changing. Some person came and like, oh, we're doing this by this law and because of this law and this law. I told, okay, no problem. We will remove these laws, and you won't need to do this project. Yes. And then another person told, oh, I told you, don't talk to him about the laws. Don't mention him the laws. It's gonna be a problem. No. He told like, oh, this is the value I want to achieve. He's changed his pitch. He switched from these laws and so on, because I hate to listen about the laws. If you're doing this because of the law, we'll change the law. It's much easier than to deliver the project. Even though it's hard, but it's much easier. So that's what we've done, and it was really successful. We had about 120 million for people are asking for 120 million. It was about 30 million allocated. Instead of just splitting equally, we just did these pitches, and we shrunk to these 30 million. So we did it only by selecting best project. And we are threatening, if you fail on the pitch, we will review your other projects and maybe take money out of there too. So be sure if you're coming here to pitch something. And people and teams, because I told you about a lot of things, but you cannot do it alone. And this is the most important thing, is the crucial thing, and it's still a lot of companies are still missing that point. It's what kind of people do that and how to build the teams. Because what I've done, basically it was how to create a startup culture in the corporate culture, how to plant a seed and how to grow it without being swallowed. So that was, I guess, the main mission, and it was really interesting, amazing to see how we managed to grow all the startup culture inside the most inefficient company. And it was what we've done. In 4 years, I got about 400 job interviews, and I managed to assemble about 40 team members, and that was amazing, actually, amazing team. Wow. And there is a problem, you know, how to attract the people, because it's public sector, it's most inefficient company, everything stacks and so on. You hear a lot of gossips, and we have a problem. Better project manager you are, shorter you will work in public sector. Because if you are good, you want to see impact, you want to see speed, you want to deliver something. And here you're coming and you're stacking. You want to do something, this is a new law, you know, you can't do it like this. You want to do this will be some control institution now checking you for 4 months and waiting, because they don't care about your project. They care about their own processes. And they have to check you. And that's it. And people are leaving. Best people are leaving quite shortly. But there is a way. Basically what we've done, it's I'm writing now. Actually, I realize I'm not a writer, but I'm still writing this for 3 months. It's how to onboard people in public sector, our knowledge, how to manage projects in public sector. It's a little bit different from the private sector because there are laws, there are more control, there are some specifics there. So basically you have to know how to navigate into that, how to adjust the rules. As the bad people do, the good people can do too. Adjust the rules and deliver what you're supposed to do, the reach impact. So that's will be, I guess, our onboard the manual, and for easier the onboard for a new people. And that's because what I realized at the end, that I cannot onboard people. It's too much already. I cannot run it, even I have a lot of help, but it's like too complicated. And if you do not proper onboard the person, it's the most important thing, to onboard it, to give the mindset, to show the examples, to give everything, prepare him. Because if you miss that, everything starts to collapse later. So when I realized that we cannot grow anymore because I cannot onboard the people, yeah, I just back up a little bit and started to review how to make it faster and better. And the most important thing when you have a people, connect the people, make of them out one mission, one team. And this is what you have to believe by yourself, because if you don't believe it, you will have to sell it, and you are always a bad seller. You have to believe. Then you don't need to sell. Then you have to only to show them where you're going and what's your mission and what's our mission. So if you manage to do that, if you manage to leverage all these expectations and motivations, because sometimes the vendors, developers, or people are sitting in the same project with me, they're earning maybe a few times more than I do for my position, but I'm fully motivated and they're not, and that's the problem in the project. If I have very motivated and I have a team that it's not very motivated, for them it's just one of the failing projects, that's a problem. And we have to build one team from our IT team, from the political group, and from the vendor. It must be one team. You have to show them all that what kind of mission, what kind of impact you do. For the developers, it's not that you're writing some legacy code. You are building, you're working to change something in this country. The application is just a part of the process that you have to do, and then other people will bring that change. You have to help them, and that's what kind of help we expect from you. And that's how we were like building these teams, and it's everywhere the same. If you feel as a part, if you see the goal, if you understand that, the result will be totally different. And also report publicly. Yeah, what we have done, we're making each year public presentations about what we're doing, where we're failing, how we're seeing that. And imagine the Prime Minister always reporting each year, like with the ministers making such event like here, maybe, just presenting about what they done, where they failed, what they achieved, where they reached the impact, where they still struggling, asking for help, asking for new people to join, because alone you cannot do anything. And that's, I guess, you can push the vendors, hard push through such event, talking about some problems in some projects, and some vendors asking maybe you could just help us a little bit more. And that's a tool you can create out of nowhere. So going to the end, the public sector, what we will see, it will be lean, fast, and customer-oriented culture. That's the most important, to think about the customers. Don't think about your own problems, that by doing this I will solve my problem. Think always about the customers, and that's what I started. We're lacking this approach, but we don't think we're solving our problems in public sector, not our citizen problems, and that is the problem for our country now. So this is the end or the beginning. I am finalizing it, telling you, I am telling you the story. That I have many things what to do in my life, but I'm standing here just because I really believe that we can walk this way that I showed you and reach the results that I was talking. And I'm pretty sure that we will do that. And so I'm just spreading this message to you. So when the time will come and you will hear the call, maybe some of you will join that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Eimantas. By the loudness of applause, I feel like it resonated to our citizens as well as software engineers creating the software as software developers or testers. And as expected, we have a lot of questions in Slido. So let's start. You ended with some suggestions to join. So, can site engineers join and somehow help for public sector as volunteers? Short-term projects or similar, does anyone ever consider it could be possible?
Yeah, I considered it, and we did this IT.LT, but to like approach such idea that there are like people who want to spend their 1 day per month or 1 day in quarter helping for a public sector to do something interesting, maybe some hackathons and so on. But this is, I guess, where I understood that I reached my limits, because it was another project you have to manage, and it was about 60-70 people just registered there, and I still am feeling bad that I didn't send an email to them explaining the situation. I guess I will do it now after this. But basically, that's, I guess, one of the approaches the country will go. It's just gather such an audience of people who want to do something, and then bring some issues, problems, and make a hackathons, or ask from, like, we have some projects where we need just to scrape some data, and we could make like amazing things, but it might take a few days, but we don't have these resources. So that's, I guess, good question. And yeah.
So if anyone sitting here today is willing to join forces, how
you
they
can
should approach?
write me personally, basically, for now. So
Okay.
let's make it simple. Or not very simple, actually.
Another question. Someone is asking for a friend. How can you get 2,000 instead of 2,300 euros? 10,000 instead of 2,300.
Because this was the minimum range. The maximum is about 6,500. And if you're working good, you will get an extra money. So basically, but no one could tell you that, because you cannot tell if this person will work good or no. Yeah, still you cannot tell that officially, because the officially you can raise the salary by saying, I see that you work really well, you achieve the results, so now you'll have instead you have this extra 4,000 euros as a bonus each month. So, but you cannot try that here. And maybe you won't get it, because you don't know what is vice minister will think. Maybe he will tell you it's enough. You will have your few thousand euros. That's it.
All right. Next one. When you started working in public sector, how you managed not to lose hope and had energy to fix it?
Because I'm telling to my team that our PM book is really good, well written. It's our best project manager in Lithuania. It's Jonas Biliūnas, and it's Laimas Žiburys. And that's an answer if you want to understand what we're doing. And this is you can read it all. It's 5 pages if you still haven't. And then all the answers how you should manage the project.
It's like prerequisite before PMO Maldaknygė.
Yes, actually, exactly.
Talking about that Maldaknygė, there is a comment that Maldaknygė should be public. It looks worth it to read for everyone. So
yeah,
what's the release date?
It will be, I thought release date will be in March, but as I told, it's not writing a post in the Facebook. It's like a lot of content. You have to remember what is where, also some information to put clearly, So basically what I realized, and I was always writing and thinking like what I'm doing here. And then at some point I realized why I'm writing. Whom am I writing this book? I'm writing this book to myself 4 years ago, so I could just help myself, to read. If I would read that, it would be much clearer for me what to do. So I guess that was change fun.
So next year we are meeting in Knygų Mugė.
Yeah, 30 pages, new book.
There are several questions related. So. One is asking why did you leave this job, and there is another asking how do you work currently, because there is a feeling that you are still working even you do not have official position at the government. So, what's your daily routine today?
I was working 4 years and a lot, and thinking about I was fired, guys. Actually, very simple answer. So that was, I guess, approach of this government. And as I told in the beginning, doers, not doers, fighting with each other, and and just the thing that all don't-doers think that they are doers, and that's also a problem. So yeah, so now I am just it's already, I guess, too late to fire me. But I realized I really I really like what I've done here, and that's no matter now what. I guess we will finish this project.
And to wrap up, if that's not a secret, what kind of projects you working now on?
Yeah, I guess you know, this government is not fond of me, and it's better done not like the project gov.startup.lt, where we just have some public pages even, but it's like maybe we have to put new information, but it's, you can see some projects I guess there. But yeah, just, you know, the people are still working, the team is still working with their projects, and I still have a lot of contacts, and I still have a lot of experience, so manage to see, to guide, to connect, and I guess, and we still as one team, and we share everything, and it's not some confidential information. I guess it's all everything. It's public sector. Everything must be public. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last time, thanks, Eimantas, for coming.